you want to know how amazing people connect? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie.
Thanks for connecting. And if you like what you hear, please share.
Special thank you to our sponsors this morning, Independent Merchant Brokers and Financial Freedom Wealth Management Group. For more information on Financial Freedom Wealth Management Group and their financial services, go to financialfreedomwmg.com. And for more information on Independent Merchant Brokers and their merchant services, go to independentmerchantbrokers.com. Ta-da! Here we are live on Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie. Even though I only have part of a voice this morning, we're going to make it through. We're going to persevere. You know, I'm reading my good friend Bonnie Miletto's post this morning about just showing up. Here you go. I'm just showing up in spite of the circumstances. No matter what's going on in life, I'm going to stay positive and just show up. Here we are. And you know what? I am so blessed because, as it says in that intro, Marketing with Russ is all about how amazing people connect. And there I am blessed with amazing, amazing friends like Layne Gneiting, who's going to be on the show today, who is the ultimate adventure guy. I mean, I see that headline and I'm thinking, I want to know Layne like right off the bat. Let's go. Come on. So I tell you, this is a great opportunity for you, not only to connect with amazing people, but also to get amazing value every time you tune in. So I just want to thank you so much for being here, whether you're live or on replay or however you're watching. Right now, I just want to encourage you to share this out. Just share it out. Let people know what's going on, because you know what? A lot of people may not know that Layne is sitting here ready to come. He's in the green room just chomping on the bit. He's like, let me in. So he'll be on in just a moment, and we need to let everybody know. So please share this. Please tag your friends. Tell them right now, if you're watching, tag them and say, hey, you got to be watching Marketing with Russ. And don't forget, we are here every Monday and Thursday, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie. And we love to have you as part of our community. You know, I love to connect, obviously, and RussHedge.com is the best place for you to go to connect with me. Whether you want to connect on social media, email, call me on the phone, or you just want to schedule time directly on my calendar, you can do them all. Just go to RussHedge.com. Another great way to consume amazing content with amazing people is to subscribe on my YouTube page. Easiest way to do that, marketingwithruss.live. Right now, if you are not subscribed, click another window open. Click marketingwithruss.live and make sure that you subscribe today, because not only do you get upcoming content, but you also get all the past amazing people that have been on the show and my other live streams. So that is awesome. Don't forget, speaking of other live streams, today at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is Russ Reels Live. There you go. Russ Reels Live is on with that amazing cast today, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You want to tune in for that. And if you haven't bought a copy of my book yet, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose. If you want to truly know how you can choose the life you want to live, pick up a copy of that. You can pick it up at RussHedge.com. Go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, any online booksellers, And if you're in the local Willamette Valley area here in Oregon, you can even pick it up at bookstores. So, anyway, thank you so much for being here today. And I think at this point, we're just going to get things rolling. I want to bring Layne in to get things started. Here we go. Welcome, Layne.
All right. Good to be here with you, Russ.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm probably sounding better than you are, but I tell you, you are the guy who shows up. I love it. I love everything that you're sharing. The book, boy, there's some rich stuff there. But I'm just glad to be here with you, Russ.
Well, thank you. Sometimes it is so true. When I saw that this morning, sometimes we just have to show up. I mean, things aren't always perfect. It was like when I've managed teams for years before I started my own business, and people would call in. I'm just not feeling good this morning. I'm not coming. And I know this has all changed with COVID. I'm not trying to tell people to fight through when they've got COVID and go to work, but people a lot of times, just because they don't feel that great, not really any major sickness, but they just don't show up. And little things in life happen and people just decide, yeah, I'm just not going to show up. And I think that's critical to a good positive life, is to show up. If you do have COVID, everybody, I need to put the disclaimer in: stay home. Don't show up if you have COVID. But outside of that, show up. Well, okay. Anyway, hey, listen, Layne, we had an amazing conversation. I want you to give everybody a little snippet of who you are and why you're like the great adventure guy.
Yeah, well, so you want the story behind it, or what exactly
Oh,
do
yeah.
you want?
Come on. Let me hear
Man,
it.
let
Tell
me
them
tell
who you
you.
are and then tell the story.
So, Russ, I'm looking at the title of your book thinking that just nails it. I was in a safe, secure job teaching at a university, kind of profession that people look up to and they laud. And I felt trapped. I did not like it. And but I didn't know how to escape it. And I would play Russian roulette on my bike coming home. I'd cycle the campus and back about 12 miles each way, and I would just blitz right through a traffic light at night to see if a car would come hit me. That's how. I mean, you probably would have thought I was depressed. I might have been, but a vision opened up, Russ, like to Moses or Muhammad or somebody, that seriously, this vision of standing in a world of gray with the dull buzz of white noise in my ears. And I was standing at this giant fence, and it stretched either direction as far as the China Wall and as high as the clouds. And on the other side of that wall, I saw this world of color and music and energy. And I desperately wanted to get there. But between us, it was this fence with a giant rusty iron gate slowly creaking shut. And I knew that if I didn't squeak through there before that shut, I would never get through. It would clang shut, chains would wrap around and fuse it forever. And I would be stuck in the world of gray forever. And when you're faced with that kind of a vision, you forget all the roadblocks that you see and decide, I'm going to go forward. I have no idea how, but I know I've got to move forward. And so, like in Russ vocabulary, you show up. You quit looking for an excuse out and you show up. And in short, like it was impossible to my mind, but we ended up cramming my family into an old motorhome, drove up to the western tip of Washington. I hopped out on my bike, and together, me on the bike, them in the motorhome, we crawled across the northern tier of the U.S. from Washington to Maine.
That is amazing. I mean, here's what I love about all that you're about is that you were willing to make that change, to make that choice, to do something that you're really passionate about because you felt stuck in. I mean, so many people are like that, right? They're just feel like they're going nowhere. And that's not a good place to be. And so no matter how you do that, I just love how you got off on the big adventure. So you did that and then you took it where from there?
So, Russ, that blew me away. It was bigger, it was more incredible and tougher than I could have possibly fathomed. But afterwards, I was pleading with the heavens, what's next? What's next? What's next? And I was guided through a process where at the end of it, I looked at what I'd written and it shook me to the core. I thought, how in the world am I going to do that? But what I saw written there was cycle every country in the world and make your living through that. I mean, you started looking, and according to the United Nations definition, there are 197 countries in the world. And you think about Russia and North Korea and Afghanistan, like,
right.
How do you get to those? But what I found for all the people listening is that when you get a dream, now not a dream that's imposed by somebody else, by your parents or society or your neighbors, but genuinely your dream, when you finally unveil that and you pursue it, you find that the meaning and the purpose of your life starts to materialize and unveil as well. And I found that, what I needed to do was awaken people up, or help, not awaken them, but help them become awakened to the vibrant world of color and music that is around us, but we're numb to because we're all encased in this invisible armor, thinking we're safe and protected, and not.
Right.
We're not. Instead, we're trapped.
Yeah. Well, and that is, again, an amazing point that people they make that choice to let themselves stay comfortable and get trapped in what they're in. They may not like it, but there's that comfort zone. They may not like really what they're doing, but this is what they've always done, right? And you were willing to break out of that and really do something different. I mean, that is just amazing. There's so many people that just need to have a conversation with you because they're thinking, I can't do this, right? But they can.
There's so many. It's really funny, Russ. Most of the people who join me are not cyclists. Like there's this figment of people's imagination that, well, in order to do something like that, I got to be a cyclist. I got to be an athlete. No, I love what Nike said. Nike said, bringing inspiration and something else to the athletes in the world. And if you have a body, you're an athlete.
Oh, well, and I tell you that the whole thing is what I like that too. That people are not, just because they're not cyclists, just because they don't feel like they're super athletic doesn't mean they can't break out and do something that is a little out of the normal, a little adventurous. So I love what you did. So you took all this then and you moved it to the next level, and now you're taking people where?
So all over the place. We've gone to India. Last year we did Greece and Albania, and then southern France. In May, we're going to Japan, New Zealand in October, and in a year, we're going to do a series that go down in Chile and Argentina, down to the southern civilized tip of the world.
That is amazing. So my daughter right now is in Ecuador, actually, down on a trip down there, down on a missions trip. It's beautiful down there, by the way. I've seen a bunch of pictures, never been there, but this is what I was looking at, the pictures of Ecuador and thinking what you just brought up with Chile and other places.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much beauty, and God has created so much abundance around us, this great world and life that we have, and people are not enjoying that, right? They're not taking advantage, and you allow them to do that. So right now, I know people are sitting there thinking, okay, how do I get a hold of this Layne guy? Because I need to figure out how this works. So talk about the process of your trips. I mean, not just how to contact you, but how do people, start the process if they actually want to do one of these things? Because it's amazing.
Sure. So if anyone wanted to contact me, wayofthehero.com is the website. But what I encourage people is take a pilgrimage, get out. It's the indigenous people, they got it right. They send their people out on some sort of a pilgrimage or a coming to age journey. And that shifts them from girl to woman, from boy to man. My process, Russ, and it's come through a lot of hard knocks to figure it out. But there really are 3 phases. There's the preparation phase, which is critical. If you don't do that right, then the journey's just a trip.
Right.
Then you got the journey, and it's a matter of being fully immersed in the journey, not just, having your cell phones and being all in touch with everything back home, but cutting ties and being fully immersed. And then the third phase is really the most pivotal of all, because without that third phase, again, it's just a trip. It's a great trip, but it's just a trip. And that third phase is the return. And that is coming back into the world you left, but doing it in a way that you're strong, you're powerful, and you're going to feel the tractor beam, the gravitational pull of the life you left, trying to pull you back into your old skin. And you've got to have mechanisms set in place to resist that. Otherwise, you'll be pulled back, and pretty soon you're back into your old patterns.
Well, okay. So that is absolutely more difficult than it sounds, because it sounds difficult, but people do tend to just go back. They go on a vacation, they go on a trip, and they do get sucked back into life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully you can hear me. My voice is cracking more. But what I find is, you're right. It's those intentional choices and those intentional adjustments in your life to continue to live that adventure. Doesn't mean you have to abandon what you had before. It's tweaking and improving what you had before, right, Layne? It's not just saying, oh yeah, my life was horrible, because not everybody is in a horrible spot, but they need a little bit more adventure in their life. They need something. And so that return is so important. What tips do you give them to hang on to that?
Yeah, great question, Russ. We've all felt that, like you said, we felt going off, having an incredible experience someplace, whether it's study abroad or an adventure of some kind. And then, pretty soon we just lapse into the old, not a bad self, not a bad world, but just slipping back. So there are a couple of things that I absolutely recommend. One is you retain the magic. When we're back in our normal world, we go on autopilot. We take the same route to work and back, the same route to the grocery store and back, and we forget to look. When you're out on adventure, all of your senses are heightened, and the smells, the sights, the colors, everything, the tastes, it's all magical because it's fresh and new.
Right.
And so somehow we got to keep that. And so I recommend taking new routes, noticing things that you've passed 1,000 times, and try to find something new in what you see. Become aware. And then the one thing that I think trumps it all is declaring it, like actually having some sort of our version of a TED Talk where you gather your family and your friends and your colleagues and you say, guys, I just had an incredible experience that I want to share, not as a travelogue, but because there are significant life lessons that I think would benefit you. And I'm asking you to please help me in my ongoing evolution of growth, not to fall back into my old self. Will you do that? And now they're enrolled. And so, and plus you've declared it, you're committed, and you know to yourself that if you slip back, you look like a schmuck.
We don't want to look like a schmuck. Yeah,
No.
I love that. So words are powerful, and I was actually writing on something on that this morning. Words are powerful, and by declaring that, you're right, because there is a certain intentionality about that act. Just like writing is magical. When you write things down, it is just something special about that. Just handwriting. I journal every morning. When I was young, through my early to mid adult years, journaling, yeah, I had no desire, but I found how powerful that was. Same thing with declaring, because when you declare, like I love to tell everybody my purpose and my why in life, right? I declare that because I'm declaring that's who I am. That's what I'm all about. But I love something else you said, and that is taking a different route, doing things a little bit differently, because we are habitual creatures, which is actually a good thing. Being habitual is not a bad thing, because we sometimes create really good habits. I love the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's incredibly good to create good, positive habits in your life, to do good things. But we all fall into habits because we're habitual, right? We fall into habits that maybe aren't so good, or they're not pointing us in the right direction. So I love that. Take a different way when you drive somewhere. Get up and do a different thing in the morning. Do something different to encourage that positive change in your life. I love that. I love that. So when did you first discover that in your journey? When did you first discover that you needed to declare and to really put this out there to make it a reality?
I'm not sure when exactly I realized that, but I watched some of the people that I took out. They had life-changing experiences. They came back, and some of them acted like they had a turbo booster strapped onto their back. They just kept soaring, but not everybody. And so I wondered, why is that? Why do some people slide back into their old selves? And so that's when I started thinking, well, I think we need to actually declare it, and started realizing, oh yeah, of course, it's like gravity. We get pulled back into old stories.
Yeah.
Like, there's a buddy of mine who's terrific guy, absolutely terrific, but he had some hard knocks in life. He got divorced. His business suffered. He ended up moving back home into the basement of his parents' home.
Wow.
Well, now you look at everything around him is speaking, you're a kid again. He was back. The icons on the wall were him growing up, and the same decor on the wall that he saw every day when he was a kid in that room. So his whole space was telling him the story. Yeah, you haven't really arrived. You've slid back. And that was a pronounced moment to realize, we don't just hear stories from other people, but the very surroundings are embedded with stories. And if we want to break out of the old stories, we got to break out of the places that we're in and go someplace different. And then come back. And to your point, I love what somebody said. They said, transformation comes in speaking, transformation. So as we speak our transformation, it becomes more real and solidified in our psyche, in our bones, our flesh, and in the minds of everyone around us.
Well, exactly. I mean, I just like this whole, okay, so this whole journey is of life that we're all living is something that we either get caught in, boxed in, comfortable, and are afraid to change. A lot of people that are going through some major challenges and bad things in their life are afraid to make those changes. Or we get adventurous. We tell our story. We declare who we really are. We don't get caught up in what other people say we are. The other day we were talking about people shoulding all over you because people always tell you what you should do and who you should be and all of that. It's true, right? We have that every day happen. This is what you should do. This is what you should be, right? Well, really? How do you know that? I mean, that's their perception of what they think. And I think that people get trapped into, I always say it, living somebody else's life.
Yes.
They're living what they think they're supposed to be doing, where they think they're supposed to be going. And just like in the beginning of your journey, you were trapped in this life that you didn't want to be in. It wasn't like your whole life was bad, but it was just like what you were doing, where you were going, the adventures that were out there for the taking that you needed to jump out into, you weren't doing. And then you finally made that change. And I think today we want to encourage people, Layne. I'm going to give you the last word here before we wrap things up. I want to encourage people to be willing to start, take that first step, realize that some things maybe they seem a little too adventurous, maybe they seem out of the possibility realm of what people can do, but it's amazing what you can actually do if you try. If you show up and you put in some work, the preparation, like you said, and then at the end, the return and the declaring are so important to really solidify who you are. So give us your positive words to wrap things up today and all that, because I just think that's such an amazing message. And then remind everybody how to get in touch with you.
Sure. In these final words, do you mind if I tell a short story?
Do it.
I tell you about a client of mine named Dave. He had co-started a business and it was killing it. Like they were the best in the world in their industry. And he got so mired down in what was success. Here he is, the chief financial officer, chief operating officer. I forget one of those of this incredible company. And he said, Layne, I wanted something different. Not a vacation. I'd had enough of those. I wanted something that would challenge me, something that I could immerse into. So he signed up, and 3 months before we left, he, on a training ride, crashed, broke his pelvis, said, I guess I'm out. I'm not going to go. But as the time got closer, he kept trying to bail out, and the online portal would not let him back out of his flight. And so he said, okay, I guess it's a sign from God. I'm going. He went, did amazing. And when he got back, he told me, Layne, I have been busting out roadblocks that have been in my life right and left. Like the whole world has changed. Not that the world has changed, but that I've changed. And so my word of advice for anyone is get out there on some sort of pilgrimage where you cut ties, get out on the open road, make that your home for a time, and you're going to find that two things change: your mental map and your identity. And that changes everything. So if you want to get a hold of me, I'd love to talk with you. My phone number is 480-208-1460. It's best to text me. And you can email me at guide@wayofthehero.com. And Russ, I just thank you for the joy and privilege of being with you today.
Well, I appreciate you so much. And, it's been this whole conversation. I could just talk to you all the time because it makes me all excited about my next adventure. I need to come up with a bigger adventure for me. I'm flying down to California to see my son and daughter-in-law. I need a bigger adventure. My daughter's in Ecuador. My son went to Sydney, Australia. I got to pack my wife up and head somewhere because I love that. I've always had an adventurous spirit, an adventurous heart. And so I just love what you're all about. I really do. And I appreciate you more than you know. Everybody watching today, all of Layne's information. First of all, his LinkedIn address has been ticking across the bottom. We've been putting up his information for you, as well as it's all clickable, which means you can click and go right to him, to his email, to his website, to his LinkedIn, whatever, and get in touch with him and find out more about how you can actually embark on one of these great adventures. And I want to tell everybody too, while you're here, Layne, because I completely think this ties in so nicely to what we have going on tonight. Covering us up here to show Navigating Fear versus Opportunity is our show tonight on Russ Reels Live. We've had Dr. Nupi Aurora here in the comments. She has been here today and other great people, but she is part of the show tonight along with Annie, Baron, Bob, and Mark. And the reason I show that is because I think a lot of times fear stops us from taking those adventures. Fear stops us from moving to where we want to go. Our lives are filled with amazing opportunities, and we're going to talk about that tonight. But I just appreciate you so much this morning, and Layne, we're gonna do this again, and I appreciate you coming on and putting up with my voice today. So, and again, it was just one of those show up things, right? Here I am, voice or no voice. So
that's
thanks.
one of the many things to love about you, Russ. Love what you're doing. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, listen, hang tight. I'm going to send you to the green room and wrap things up. I'll be right there. Thanks again for being here. Hey, everybody. Wow. Okay. Such a great group here today. Appreciate all of you and your comments. Make sure if you haven't commented to us today and you're watching, let us know where you're watching from. Say hi. Love to engage with the other people that are here in the comments. We have so many amazing people here today. And I know a lot of you are going to watch on replay as well. Make sure and share this out. I said it before. Please share. Get it out there. Let other people know that this amazing show today we were on with Layne that has great adventurous things to share with you. So you need to reach out to him. Also, I want to remind you that it always helps to be a part of our YouTube community. There you go. My voice is going to make it. It's going to make it. Go to marketingwithruss.live. That's how you get to our YouTube community, and you can subscribe there. And last but not least, don't forget, russhedge.com is the best way to contact me. And before I run out of my voice completely, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody today and tell you how much I appreciate y'all being here. Until we see you again, which is next Monday, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Have a great day and a great life. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie. Be sure to subscribe in your favorite podcast app so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an amazing day.